Hello folks, welcome back. Much to his chagrin, a South African general officer, the commander of the South African National Defense Force, may be discovering that there's a time to say something and there's a time to keep your mouth shut. A key tenet of a professional military is civil control over the military. Military officers do not have a place in determining foreign policy, and a South African general may be discovering the hard way what a mistake that can be. In spite of escalating diplomatic tensions between Washington and Pretoria over South Africa's unusual relationships with rogue nations that are adversaries of the United States, South African National Defense Force Chief Ruzani Mapwanya visited Iran this week, where apparently he developed a severe case of foot-in-mouth disease. The general violated a key tenet of a professional military, deferring to civilian leadership. Unless given specific instructions to communicate foreign policy statements, a commissioned officer cannot step out of his or her lane, something Mapwanya clearly did in Tehran. His transgression was so severe that it provoked a highly unusual public statement from South Africa's foreign ministry rebuking him. South Africa's ties to Iran and China are one of the main sticking points in the strained, broken relationship between the U.S. and South Africa, and have been cited in official U.S. documents and public statements. Now, chief among the U.S. complaints is the allegation that South Africa is assisting the Iranian nuclear weapons program. Pretoria has previously denied having a sinister relationship with Iran to develop nuclear weapons. But South African Defense Force Chief Ruzani Mapwanya has got himself in some trouble in an effort to strengthen ties with the Islamic Republic, where he discussed shared anti-colonial and justice-driven goals. The Director of International Relations Cooperation has distanced itself from the general over his comments in Iran, stating they do not reflect South Africa's foreign policy position. He praised Iran-South Africa relations, criticized Israel, and called for deeper defense ties at a time when the relationship with South Africa and the United States is on the rocks. Minister Lamola is asking for clarification on the comments. This is a highly unusual rebuke. He's going to find himself in deep kimchi here over his statements. It's inappropriate. DIRCO spokesman Crispin Perry said Minister Lamola would seek further clarification on what led Mapwanya to make these comments, as they do not represent the government's official foreign policy stance. He continued saying it's crucial to clarify that the implementation of South Africa's foreign policy is a function of the presidency supported by DIRCO, the foreign ministry. Consequently, any statements made by an individual or a department other than those responsible for foreign policy should not be misinterpreted as the official position of the South African government. The remarks attributed to General Mapwanya, therefore, do not represent the government's official foreign policy stance. Now, this is a critically important distinction that they came out and publicly said this, rebuked their general, their Liberation Era MK veteran, publicly. While it appears that the government of South Africa, led by the ANC, has no interest in repairing their relationship with the United States, this public rebuke would seem to indicate otherwise. You don't come out and publicly admonish an official of this level for something stupid they've done unless it has serious consequences. And the only serious consequences here, certainly not the relationship with Iran. That's pretty cozy, cordial. The only relationship here that would be of importance would be the relationship with the United States, and therefore the public rebuke. Iranian media reported that Mapwanya was in Tehran on Tuesday, where he and the Iranian Army commander, Major General Amir Hatami, commended their country's common goal of fighting global arrogance and aggressive colonial approaches. You mean like the SANDF invading Lesotho twice? Or perhaps the SANDF invading Comoros 3 times? Or perhaps the SANDF deploying to Kar and being beaten up by rebels and running away? Or the criminal syndicates run by South African soldiers in the Congo over the past couple decades, running prostitution rings, selling drugs, selling weapons and uniforms? Is that the global arrogance and aggressive colonial approaches we're talking about here? No, it's not what they're talking about, but that's the reality. Hatami is said to have declared the Islamic Republic and South Africa have always supported each other and oppressed nations. No, they haven't. No, the ANC may have supported the Islamic Republic, but the Islamic Republic didn't exist until 1979. In 1979, the National Party controlled South Africa, so it hasn't always been the case. He also underscored that the shared mission had to last until restoration of the international order based on justice and human dignity. Well, that's certainly not the position of South Africa, and certainly not the position of Iran. The Press TV article stated that Hatami had described South Africa's firm stance in condemning Israeli and U.S. joint atrocities against Palestinians as both courageous and commendable. The problem with that, Mr. Hatami, is that the U.S. has no role in Gaza. And you know that. You are more actively involved in Gaza funding terrorism than the U.S. is. We've actually helped Palestinians. So this is just propaganda. And this general officer, the commander of the SANDF, participated in this propaganda show. Therefore, he was rebuked. Mpwanda conveyed greetings from President Ramaphosa and the Defense Minister, Angie 30% Mosheka. The Republic of South Africa and the Islamic Republic of Iran have common goals, he said. We always stand alongside the oppressed and defenseless people of the world. No, you don't. You said nothing for the 1,200 innocent civilians slaughtered on October 7th. Mpwanda denounced Israel bombing Palestinians while they were standing in line for food. He said South Africa's case of the ICJ seeks to ensure those responsible for genocide are held accountable. Yet there's no South African case at the ICJ against Myanmar for the genocide against Rohingya or against Chinese communists for their genocide against the Uyghurs. Selective outrage. Now, the most damaging statement that the rogue general made was that his visit did not simply address the nation's defense ties, but also carries a political message. That's a death knell. This general should be relieved and cashiered. It's inappropriate what he did for a professional military. He said he had arrived in the Iranian capital at the best possible time to express our heartfelt sentiments to the peace-loving people of Iran. The peace-loving people of Iran who sent rockets and missiles and attacked Israel unprovoked last year in October, killing civilians, attacking civilian targets. The peace-loving people of Iran who fund Hamas, the Houthis, and Hezbollah, murdering innocent civilians. Peace-loving people? The people of Iran may very well be peace-loving, but the mullahs that run the country aren't. And I guess this may have been a bridge too far with the general and his foot and mouth disease. We'll see what happens. Will he suffer consequences? He ought to. This is highly inappropriate for an American general, for a British general, for a Tanzanian general, or for a South African general. Wrong optics. Foot and mouth disease. Own goal. Will the South African government make him pay the price? If not, I suspect the American government's anger at South Africa will only get deeper and deeper. What say you, South Africa, Mzansi? Cheers.